About the other two guys, I know TK didn't play in as many of the games, but Sanheim, I think he was out there when overtime started.
Played really well.
Yeah.
I wasn't coaching the team. I thought TK would be a really good fit playing against us.
Yeah.
That's the coaches. That's their call there. I wish when they get named to the team, you wish they'd have some rest, as an NHL coach. But when they're there, you want to see them play. You want them to enjoy the experience. So felt a little bad for TK, but Sandy I thought played really well.
Going back, go ahead, Jack.
I mean, those are three guys actually that are in your core moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much of a confidence boost is that for their game to have those big moments, especially Sam?
Yeah. Well, it's new for Sam, right? And really, quite honestly, for all the guys from Philly to get onto a stage with some of the best players in the world. Team Canada, very well respected, and all the players on their organization, and TK and Sandy come in there. Just to be around that and see how people act, how they go about it. The thing that was the greatest thing about that, and when it was beginning, people were saying, "Well, are they going to compete?" There was no question what was going to happen in that tournament, how hard the competition was going to be. There was no question. I just couldn't understand some of the people thinking, well, are they going to play? And our athletes just aren't built that way. For our guys to be there in those type of situations and high stakes and the intensity of it all, to watch how other people play, how they raise their level, does nothing but help. And so I'm proud of our guys. I do. I wish TK played more, but that's their call.
Going back to Sam Harrison for a second. Obviously, we've talked to you a lot about what happened last year with the workload and him struggling at the end because you feel like you played him too much because you felt you had to. My read of the way this back half of the season is going to play out is, he's going to get a lot of games, but maybe the difference is that if he starts to struggle, you're going to be more willing to give him the rest that you didn't give him last year.
Yeah, but then it depends where we are too. I don't know where we're going to be. It depends how Feds plays. So I'm not sure who that could change. Coley could play. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the backup. So I have Sam is our number one guy, and he's going to be played as a number one guy. And we're in a mindset of trying to chase down a playoff spot. And I'm going to act accordingly. So I can't give you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to see where the lay of the land is as we go each game, and we'll go about it that way. It depends on how if we're still in the hunt and I'm playing Sam a lot and we're still there and we know we need to give him a rest, it depends how the other guys are playing. I'm going about it the same way. And I just don't think we had anybody playing last year other than Sam, and I was going to ride him. Made the conscious decision, we went with it.
John, Fedotov's your number 2 right now is the way that...
Fedotov will be backing up tonight, yes.
John, with Jacob Peltier, you said you talked to Calgary's head coach, Ryan Huska, just to kind of get a scouting report on him. I'm not sure how much Calgary was looking to trade a young player like that, but so I'm just curious, how much did your scouts really like Peltier, maybe from his draft year and also just as a young player with upside to get back in the trade?
Yeah, I haven't talked to the scouts. I just talked to Danny. It's an energy guy, right? He's a guy that's trying to find his footing in the National Hockey League, trying to become a full-fledged National Hockey Leaguer. And I think when you get a player like that in a short stint of games of 20-plus here, the last quarter of the season, I think it gives him a really good chance to show what he is. And I think we have him at a good time. Our lineup we've changed our lineup. We've had injuries. We've moved people around. I'm going to play him again with Pales and Garney tonight. I think that's where he sits right now with us, and is that energy checking, banging, that type of player. I got to figure out who he is. He's not that big. He kind of falls in between in a lot of situations here. He's not a great scorer, but can add some checking and maybe bang some in. Not really big to be a really big checker for us. And I think that's where he's found himself in his career. But you don't give up. You don't. I want to see how he acts as he plays a number of games and watch him through momentums of games. I think he could be a guy that can add some juice to us when we need just a boost, as far as that we're at the bottom end of the spectrum with momentum in that game. But I've got to see who he is. I'm not going to totally rely on what other coaches think about him, because I have different thoughts about different players that other coaches do. So we'll see where it all goes.
You said he read the lineup the other night. Was that your call? Or is that the leadership?
That was my call.
That's
That was
cool.
my call. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just kind of get him feeling like he's welcomed. And
Yeah, I wanted him part of the room, and he jumped right in. That's for damn sure. Yes.
Is your plan to keep carrying 3 goalies now? Is that your understanding of what's the?
Danny was in New York yesterday with some stuff. I need to talk with Danny. That conversation's been going on forever. I would look at Cole. He hasn't played since the beginning of January. Not really good for development. We have decided to go back with Feds. It's a decision really in that Danny and I have to communicate more on. And hopefully I'll be able to talk to him tonight. I'm not sure when he's getting back. But we wanted to get to the break, still carrying him, and then we're going to talk more. Just haven't had a chance to talk about it.
John, I'm just curious, with winning's always important, and with 24 games on the schedule, winning's always important, but how is there more emphasis on winning and playing better when you had last year's struggles down the stretch for the team's like mental capacity? You always talk about how like winning's so important to culture.
Yeah.
How much more important is it maybe? Is it more stress this year because of what happened last year?
No, we're not even. It's not even in our mind. At least it's not even in my mind. We're trying to win every game, and that's how we're approaching it. We're trying to approach one game at a time, and that's the only way I know how to do it. You win a few games, you're right in the hunt. You lose a few games, you're in the cellar. That's where the standings are. But we're still in it. I think, what are we, 5 out? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened last night. I'm not even sure what the games were. But it's simple for me. You prepare your team every day that you're trying to win each and every hockey game. And then we'll see where, as you start getting closer to the end, that's when it starts getting, you have a better idea where you look at. But for me, you never stop thinking about just winning hockey games. So it's pretty simple for me. That's how we prepare, and that's how we're going to go about it.
And you talked about last summer how you look back and you had lessons you had to learn. Is there things that you can pull from what happened last year down the stretch?
At the end of the year?
Yeah, you said like over the summer you were going to have to like really like look at things and you made mistakes in that last stretch where they had the long losing streak.
Yeah.
Are you able to pull from that now, also moving forward?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the context you and I were talking about, but I don't remember our conversation about that. I make mistakes every day, not just at the end of the year. I've made mistakes all through the year, so I'm not sure when we were talking and what the question was. I'm going to try to. I wake up every morning, and I'm going to try to prepare the team to practice the best way they can practice on a practice day, give them a rest on their rest day, and play the game as best you can. I'm going to put the lineup in that gives us the best chance to win. I'm going to use the lines in the game to give us the best chance to win, and I'm just going to go from there. Will I make a mistake in my judgment? I'm sure I will, but I'm going to do what I do all the time, try to make the decisions what's best for the hockey team.